Hey guys, it's Amin here. I just wanted to kind of go over a couple things on our quick webinar here. Probably got about an hour or so. We're going to talk about how to start a business from scratch. Now, when we're talking about starting a business from scratch, I mean, there's all sorts of business that you can think of. So the number one important thing that you got to understand is that, well, of course, you're going to have a lot of competition. So whatever you're going to get into, you really need to know why you're getting into it. So one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't think about is why. So why are you going to do the business that you think that you want to start? Knowing why is like almost like giving you a purpose. Like, what is your purpose of this business? Are you getting in to just make money? Are you getting in to help people? Are you getting in to scam people? Hopefully not. I mean, just whatever the reason is, you just got to know that. So the more you know why you're getting into something, the more you accept that reason, then more you're going to put more of your energy into that business. It's going to be more of an ownership. So you're going to take a lot more ownership for it, which in essence, when you have more ownership over something, then you're less likely to not succeed. So you really want to know why you're getting into that business. And then we're going to go into a couple of the fundamentals. And again, obviously, you know, with this 1 hour that we got, you're not going to know everything about it. It's just kind of a quick rundown of the fundamentals. Later on, I'll have some other videos that I'll go into some more in-depth stuff within these things for you guys. And at any time, if you guys got any questions, don't hesitate. Email me at support@theaminimami.com. That's support@theaminimami.com. And one of our partners or myself will get back to your questions as soon as we can and try to answer them as best as possible. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you call it, on any of the social medias, and you'll find me whatever way you can, and I'll help you guys, okay? So, how to start a business. Number one thing, knowing why you're going to start that business. And after that, once you find out your true purpose of why you're getting into the business or whatever business you want to get into, then the next thing is whatever thing that you've thought of. So let's say you wanted to be like, you want to open up a barbershop, or you want to have a online marketing business, or whatever it's going to be. You got to make sure that you do a lot of observation, do a lot of research. You know, a lot of guys, they think that, you know, you just build it and they'll come. So, you know, just open up the business and everyone's just going to rush in. It doesn't work that way, guys. Sometimes it does, not that it never works that way, but logistically, 90% of the time, you really got to do your homework. So it's important that you observe. And when I say observe, it means observe people who have already done it. You know, most of the businesses that any of us would try to do, somebody has done some sort of it. So if you go and observe that industry and the people who are doing it, you can kind of see what are some of the fundamental things that they're doing for that business, and you can actually learn from that of what to do and also of what not to do. So there's going to be a lot of times that by seeing these guys in action, you can say to yourself, what are they doing different, and what can I do different that can really differentiate me from these guys? And that's important because, you know, if you're going into a pool of all this competition, you really got to find those things and stand out, so that way you can use that as a tool of a selling point. So that way your audience can be like, okay, well, why are you so different? And then you can tell them that. So it's really important that you really observe. So number one thing after you know why would be to observe. Observe. If you guys hear my cats Her name is Musa. I locked her out of this room so she doesn't come bother us. But if you hear that noise, that's her. She says hello. And so, yeah. All right, guys. So after you observe, you got to remember one other thing is that branding is another important part of any business. What is branding? Branding basically is any sort of labeling, any sort of logos, color schemes for your business, business cards, flyers, anything that is basically, when someone sees that, they're going to automatically recognize you. They're going to know, okay, it's kind of like, you know, when you see those arches, the golden arches, you automatically know, oh, that's a McDonald's. Well, they have branded themselves so well with those arches and the advertising that they do that everybody almost knows them. And anywhere you go, you see that, you automatically know, okay, that's a McDonald's. And hopefully I'm not going to get in trouble using these names. So you really gotta you gotta make sure that you're when you get into any kind of business that you do your homework, you figure out what logos you want, what color schemes you want. Definitely make sure that you start off like with even social media. Social media is going to be a really big thing for any business. So making sure that you got a good LinkedIn account. You know, Facebook, Twitter. Twitter is one of the harder ones to kind of build up on. So just make sure if you're going to do that, you start fast and kind of start flowing some stuff into that. But whatever you do, just make sure that you're consistent. You know, the biggest downfall is that you see a lot of companies that they'll put up a website, they'll put up a Facebook, YouTube, and all this stuff, and you go to each one, and they're so different. So you never know, is this really the same company? Is this what am I doing here? So really make sure that whatever color schemes and logos and all those things that you choose, just make sure that they're all consistent all across. So after you've observed, then number 2 is really make sure that you focus on your branding. So branding. Okay, so again, consistency in that part. And then you also got to think about, you know, I tell this to a lot of the people that I coach, you know, in business. They're like, well, I want to do all this marketing, I want to do all this branding, but the number one thing that they forget is, what are you offering? You know, you can have a great logo, you can have a great business card, and all these things that you have, but you got to think about it. Is that you get all these people in, what do you got to offer? So your product or your service is really important to be focused on. So this part is very key, guys, to any business. Is what you can produce, what you're going to offer to your audience, to your clients, or whatever business you got to be able to give them good stuff. You know, if you think about it, you know, if you got a party, you're not going to just call up all your people and all your friends and say, hey, come over to my house, I got this great party. And then they show up to the door and they come in and all the lights are shut off. There's like nobody's really there. There's no drinks. Nothing's going on. So it's like, well, what kind of party is this? So, you know, when you hype it up and you want to act like, you know, you got this crazy party, and you better have this nice party, right? So it's the same kind of thing in business. You know, you do all this observation, you do all this branding and all these things. Now the key part is, okay, now you got the people to get their attention. Well, what are you going to offer them? What is your actual products? What are you going to produce? And then also, you know, you got to be able to plan a lot of things out, guys. You know, if you got a good fundamental stuff together, and you got, you know, all of your branding stuff together, and you know what your product is, now you got to be able to plan things out. What do I mean by planning things out? It means that you got to have a strategy. So when you get into a business, let's just for example say that you want to have an online marketing business to help other businesses find clients for their business. So at this point, you kind of know what you want to get into. Now you have to make a plan of how are you going to execute. You got your branding together, you got your why, you observe other people who are doing stuff. Well, now you got to put in your plan. Your plan is going to be your goals and all the strategic things you're going to put in place. That step by step is going to say, okay, I'm going to do this first, then I'm going to do this to gain this results. And not only that helps out in any business, but that actually helps out in anything you do in life, if you think about it. So you really got to make sure you got a good plan to take action on. So let's talk about these numbers here again. So we talked about, first, you got to know your why. Then we talked about, you really got to observe your competition or the people who are doing the same kind of business that you want to get into, so you can learn from them and learn what to do and what not to do. Then we talked about branding is going to be huge. Make sure whatever you're going to get into, you got a good brand to stick behind right off the bat, so you're not changing a lot of things while you got a lot of audience building, because then they're going to get kind of sidetracked, and you don't want to do that. And you want to be consistent in your branding all across your social media, your websites, whatever kind of places you're going to put in. And then we talked about your next thing was number 3 is product. So product, oh, sorry guys, there we go. Product. Let's see if I can switch this. Maybe you guys will see this better if I use this step. So the third one was product, and that's basically what are you going to get to your audience, your clients, and what service, what product are you going to give them? If you got your good observation together, you got your branding, you really got to know, okay, well, what am I going to give to them? So that's your product. You got to focus on that. Really make sure that you're going to give them some good stuff. And then after that, we talked about, okay, well, now that you know these things, you got to be able to plan it out, right? So number 4 is having a plan together. So the plan part, again, guys, if you don't plan well, if you don't put in these fundamental goal settings, then it's hard to measure your results. And if you can't measure your results, you're going to have a hard time doing any sort of marketing, almost anything with the statistics parts of the business that you're going to get into. So you got to be able to really have a good plan together. Again, guys, all these things I'm going over today, they're pretty basic stuff. We're not getting really too deep into it because we don't have that much time on this webinar. So if there's at any time any questions you guys have, or you want me to elaborate on any of these subjects, don't hesitate. Just go ahead and email me at support@theamenimami.com, and one of my partners or myself will definitely get back to you as soon as we can, and we'll answer every question for you guys. So don't hesitate to email us. Okay, so now that we talked about the planning a little bit, let's talk about how are we gonna, now once you got that, is just literally just taking action. So your planning part, you're getting all the steps together of, okay, what am I gonna do to get a result? Getting a result, doing those plans really takes action. So if you just sit down, let's say for example, and say, oh, let's just use a normal life situation, is that some people might be a little bit overweight, or they want to say, from tomorrow, I'm going to go to the gym because I want to lose 10 pounds. So you got a plan that you're going to get up tomorrow, go to the gym, and start working out. That's your plan. Now, that's a pretty simple plan, and you know that the results are going to give you less, you're going to lose some weight, and you're going to get healthier. So you know what you're going to get, but if you don't take action on that, you're not going to get those results. Things just don't happen by themselves. So you got to be able to take action. So the next one, really, after your planning and everything that you've done here, is being able to take action. Okay? This one's important, guys. So taking action is going to give you results. Now, You got to understand this. Whenever you get into any kind of business, guys, you have to understand that not every result is going to be the result that you were expecting and you were wanting. So you have to be well prepared for that. So after taking action, you're going to get some results. And those results hopefully are going to be the exact ones that you anticipated and that you wanted out of the action plan that you have put together and the actions you take. But not always everything's going to be peachy. So you have to be able to have a tough skin to once you hit those roads that things just don't work out, those actions that didn't give you those results that you wanted, you have to be able to adapt. And you got to be able to adapt quick. So especially when you're starting out in a business, failure rates are very high. And those failure rates, and they're pretty common. And it's because you're new to the game, you're learning as you go. But the key is you got to be able to adapt. So changing up your planning, how you're taking the action, so you can get maybe a different results that you wanted. You got to be able to do that really quick. So after taking action, you're going to get results. Okay. So when you get your results, again, these results might not be what you're expecting or what you want. So after that, you have to be ready to adapt, right? So you have to be flexible. You have to understand that. And adapting, basically, like I said again, is that you change up your plan. You change up your strategy. So let's say, for example, like let's talk about that weight loss thing again. Let's say, you wanted to lose 10 pounds and you go into the gym every day. And every day that you go in, you only spend like 5 minutes on like the treadmill on a slow setting. And then at the end of the week or so, you come back and you're like, man, I haven't lost almost anything. So that means that you had a plan, you took action, you went and did something, but the results weren't what you wanted or we were expecting. So then you have to re-strategize and say, okay, well, why? Why did I not get the results that I wanted? Well, when you look at some of the exercising routines, then they say that you have to go hardcore for maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes on like a good cardio exercise to lose this amount of weight. And at the same time, they'll walk you through some diet things and things like that too. So your strategy that you had was probably not the best strategy to get the results that you wanted. So now you observe a little bit more, you re-strategize, and you find out, okay, from next week, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do 20 minutes on a good cardio activity machine that I'm going to do on a level up scale, and I'm going to spend more time on it. So that way I know that if I do that and maybe change a few of my dieting habits, that at the end of the week, instead of losing like the 2 pounds that I lost, that I am more likely to lose maybe about 10 pounds that I really want. So it's the same thing in business, guys, is that, you strategize, you measure those results after you take those actions. If it's not what you want, then you just go back to the drawing board, re-observe some things and find out what you can do different. So that way you can take action again or different actions and get some different results that you want. And that's called being adaptive, that you're adapting to the situation of the results that you had got. And that's important, guys. It's important to any kind of business, especially if you're starting out brand new. You want to have that capability to adapt pretty quick. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and erase these guys. Again, if you don't have these and if you want me to go over any of these guys, just email me and I'll help you out. So I'm going to erase these, and we're going to talk about once you have adapted, the next part was re-strategize. So replan, basically. So number 8 is replan. So you were adaptive enough to where you understood that some of the results that you got might have not been the exact results you wanted. So you went back and you made some replanning. Once you do your replanning, then on number 9, then obviously you take action again, right? Because that's what makes things happen. So after 9, once you replan, you take another action. And then you're going to get results again. And depending on what results you get again, it could be better than the last time you did because you had a different plan. It could be worse. Again, you got to be adaptive, guys. I mean, it's life situation, right? Nothing's going to always be the perfect. So you have to be able to adapt to that. But as long as you have that mentality and you understand that you can adapt quick and just replan and take actions again, you're going to eventually get to the point to where you're going to have a good planning for the different things that you do. You're going to have good action taking for the things that you want, and you're going to obviously get good results from it. So you after a while doing that, you'll kind of get to that gravy part of what you want. So let's talk about another thing as far as what's going to be good for you guys. We talked about the social media. Now, once you're working on that social media and you had your branding together, the key of that is just making a big audience, guys. You got to be able to connect with your audience, making a relationship. So this is key. Okay, remember this word, guys. Relationship. Relationships. Okay, that is what is going to build your business on a solid foundation. Without having a good relationship, people might not trust you as well. They're going to say, well, why would I want to give my money to this guy? They're always going to be a skeptic of something. So building a good relationship is going to be key for any business to have a solid foundation. So that way that you build a clientele that's going to last a long time, a lifetime. Most businesses, that they might think that, okay, well, yeah, business, I'll have some guy come in and buy this for me today, and I don't care if he comes back tomorrow. Wrong. You want that guy to keep coming back and coming back, not only coming back, but telling their friends and families and all these people that, hey, I went there, I got such a great experience from these guys, and I want you to go and feel the same. So that's relationship building, guys. If you build that relationship, that's what's going to happen. Your clients are going to build so much trust and loyalty that they're just going to spread the word for you. So you know why you wanted to get into business. You really branded yourself well. You started building a social media. You brought out a good product that you're going to give to your clients. Then you put a plan together to take some action to get the results you want. And you might have had to go back and forth with that a little bit. And then you start building that relationship. So while you're building this relationship with all these other great things that's going on, now you're going to see growth. Now you're going to see growth, which is the biggest thing that any business needs so that way they can succeed and they don't fail, is growth. If you don't grow, obviously you're going to have to shut your doors down. So it's really key, guys, that you build those relationships and build those trusts. Now, I want to get into this a little bit more because, again, like I said, this is one of the biggest things for any business is relationship building that trust with your audience. So I really want to dig deep in this one for the rest of the time that we have. I might go into a couple other things too, but this part I'm going to dig a little bit more deep into. Again, we'll have some other videos that are going to come up that are going to explain some other things later on. And you guys can always ask me questions through the emails or Facebook or wherever you can find me on my social media stuff. I'll help you guys out. But relationship part, building that trust, let's talk about how do we do that? It's simple, but it takes time. It's simple, but it takes time. You have to understand the process of relationship building. It kind of goes with psychology. So if you're trying to really, like, let's say you start dating someone, and when you're dating someone, you're trying to build trust. You're trying to build a good relationship with each other, a good foundation. The way you do that is really with respect. I mean, you do the same things with your clients. You want to make sure that you're giving them respect. You're being honest. Honesty is the biggest thing. I always tell all the people that I coach is that you rather be honest than try to lie something out to make yourself look better. Because once, let's say, even if they don't find out, it just looks a little fishy, they can feel a little fishiness, it's not going to be a good relationship building. And let's say even if they do find out you lied, that's like a killer for any business, right? So, I mean, who wants to find out that this guy scammed them? So just make sure whatever you do, you're always honest with your clients, honest with anyone that you're doing building a relationship with, because that's going to be the biggest thing that is going to build that trust. And also just being fair and honest, and just having a good integrity as a character and good ethics within yourself. So this part, again, if let's say you're a head of the company, you're the boss, or I hate to say boss, really honestly, I like to say you're the leader, because when you talk about boss, I keep thinking about someone just sitting there and just bossing people around, and I don't want to think that. So leader is more better, because leaders, you like to follow them better. And that's why I like to use the word leader. So if let's say you're the leader in your company, you want to have good ethics. You want to have good morals, because people are going to look at that. Your employees, your clients, and all those things, they're judging you every time that they're doing anything interaction with you. So the more integrity you have, the more ethical you are, more respect you have for them, the more you do things the correct way, then they're going to trust you more. They're going to start building a relationship with you and giving you the opportunity to allow a relationship to even build. And that's what you want, is that, sometimes you don't want that quick sale. You don't want that quick thing. You want to build on that. Just let your clients kind of understand that you are there to help them out, that your product is really there to help them in such a way that it's going to make their lives easier, hopefully. And a lot of businesses are built around that, is built around helping people. So you've got to be able to build those relationships, guys. If you can't build those relationships, it's going to be very hard for you to succeed, because people go to places and buy things or do things that they trust. So you have to build that trust. Let's say another way to really do that is to give them what they want. Sometimes in social media, especially this will be good for like internet marketing people. If you're trying to get into that type of business, you have some knowledge that you think that you can give away to your clients for free, do it. The more you can give them some stuff that they don't necessarily have to buy from you, and you don't have to make money out of, and that you can give to them, that's going to help them out. Now they're gonna really feel like, this guy is trying to really help us out, and they're gonna feel more trustworthy with you and more of a welcoming relationship on that. So really be able to focus on some of the things that you can just give. That's going to be valuable to your clients, and not necessarily that they would have to buy. You can do that through a lot of your social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, anything you can think of. You can give them out free blogs, free writings. You could do pictures. You could do videos. You name it. There's a lot of those. You can use a lot of those avenues to give out some of the freebies to your clients, so that way they can feel more of a relationship building, and they'll follow you more. And eventually, whatever product or whatever service you have, once they build that trust with you, they're more willing to buy the service or the product. A lot of times people are like, they don't think of that, and they go straight to just selling the product. So many times I see this, even right now, I go on Facebook sometimes, and I see this advertising thing pop up, and it's like, buy this right now for only $1. And I'm just looking at it. I look at it because, I'm interested in knowing what's up. But then at the same time, I'm like, I don't know these people. I don't know this product. Why would I even spend $1 even to purchase this when I don't even know them? So the way I look at it is that if that person would have done a little bit more work building a relationship with me as a client or a potential client in the future, I would have been more prone to buy that $1 product. Why not? It's $1, right? So I give you an example, is that for that person, if they would have done some advertising on their Facebook of just basically giving out good information, and all you're seeing is good information from this one person, now I'm like, okay, well, let me follow this guy. Let me see what else he's got to just say like this or give me like this without, me looking at, oh, here's a dollar sign, pay for it. So then I will follow this person, and then I see that they're going to give me more information here and there, and it's just building a relationship. Now I'm trusting them that, wow, they know what they're talking about. They're giving me all this free info. and I like what I'm getting here. So then eventually when they say, hey, Amin, now that you've followed us for like a month and we've got all this information to you, they're not going to obviously say that, but they're going to know that I've been kind of following them. Eventually, I'm going to get something in their feed that's going to say, here's one of our special products today for $1. And I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to do it. I like what he's done so far, what these guys have done so far. I built that relationship. I trust these guys. And I'm much more willing to spend even my $1 that I could. I mean, God, I don't know what I could even get for $1 these days. I mean, even a cup of coffee is like $3 sometimes. So I would definitely spend that $1 to see what else they got. Why? Because I trusted them. Why? Because they took time to build that relationship with me. And that's what's important, guys. I really think that is one of the biggest things that you really need to focus on is building your relationships with your clients, with your audience, so you can build a good trust foundation. And while you're doing your other things, they're just going to come to you. They're going to find out about you. They're going to trust you now, and they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a try because I trust this guy. So just remember, don't go for the big fish all of a sudden, and try to make that big sale without building some relationship there. Even if you have a sales job, it's the same kind of thing. You don't walk into an office and say, hey, Mr. whoever, Bob, I got this vacuum for $1,000. Give me your money. I mean, he's going to look at you and just be like, who are you? So, you go in and you say, hi, my name is this and da-da-da-da-da, and can you have 5 minutes? I usually say, you got 5 minutes? You're respecting their time, and you build on a relationship for like a few minutes to get to know this person and let them get to know you and build a trust so that they can say that, you know what, this guy seems presentable. This guy has respect for my time. He understands his stuff, and I want to hear more. Why not? I got 5 more minutes to hear more about maybe a product or a service he's got. So you spend some time in the beginning to build that relationship. It's going to make it easier for you to make your sale on the service or the product that you got. So just make sure you focus on that. So briefly, I'm going to go back, guys, a little bit over what we had talked about today before we end the meeting. And I'm sure you guys will have some questions for me. So I probably won't answer a lot of them here. But again, like I said, just go to support@theaminimami.com. That's support at so THE, Amin, AMIN, Imami, EMAMI.com. So eventually I'll probably put it on here so it's easier for you guys to see it too. But right now I'll just spell it out. So I'll go over it a little bit, quick brief of what we had talked about today, of how to start your business. Number one thing that I said, first of all, before you do anything, is knowing why you're going into that business. What is the purpose of this business? Knowing the reason why is going to really help you understand the reason why you're getting into it. And once you know that, you will put in a lot more work, usually statistically known, when you have a purpose and you know the why, without just saying, I'm just going to open something and then things are going to flow in. So really know why you're getting into that business. After doing that, why, we talked about basically doing an observation. So you find out the business you kind of want to get into and the why you want to do that. Now it's time to research and observe other people in the industry that are doing the same thing. So let's say if you want to do internet marketing, there's tons of internet marketing people out there that you can kind of go and observe and see what are they doing, how are they doing that business, and you'll learn of what to-dos and what not to-dos and what to do different than these guys. And that's the part that we talked about, is finding those differences, because then you can utilize that as a selling point to your clients of saying, I know you know these guys, but this is how I do it differently. So the people look for that because they want to know what can you offer that's a little bit different than the other guys. So that'll be good to know. Then we talked about branding. So once you're going to get into any kind of business, you want to make sure you got a good solid logo, color schemes, things that are going to build your branding from the get-go, and you want to make sure that you're consistent with that. So you don't want to make something different on your website than your business card or your flyers looking different, and then you go to YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn account and something looks totally different. You want to make sure all of them look about the same color scheme, same logos. Consistency, guys. Consistency is going to make sure that you're building a solid branding. Then we talked about, after that, is what your product is. What are you going to have to offer to your people that's going to be a great product? So if you, let's say, we talk about, if you want to throw a party for your friends, you don't just call them and say, hey, guys, I got this great party. And this is kind of like your branding and advertising, right? So I got this great party, guys, and come on over and, make sure you're here at this time, and we're going to have a great time. And then they show up, and then there's nothing going on. There's no food. There's no alcohol. You got the lights turned out. So they're going to say, well, what the hell am I here for? It's the same thing for a business. That if you don't have good products, or if you don't have that good service that you want to give to your people, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time doing all this branding and observing and all these things, because why go into a business that you know that you can't offer something? So make sure that you got a good, solid product or service that you're going to be able to offer to your people. And then we talked about once you have that product or service in line, now you got to plan on how are you going to do this, right? What plan am I going to put together that's going to bring that first customer, not only that first customer, the second customer, or those customers back in again to buy my product or my service. So you put up a good action plan, a strategy that you're going to take action on. And remember, guys, that was the important part, taking action. Without action, you're not going to get results. So things just don't happen by themselves. You have to do something with it, right? You put that plan together, you take action. After you take action, you're going to get a result. And remember, we talked about being adaptable, being flexible, and understanding that not all the time those results are going to be the results that you were expecting or you were wanting. So you have to be able to be flexible enough to say, okay, after I get those results, if I don't like it, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I'm going to observe again. I'm going to replan, make some new strategies, maybe take different actions so I can get different results. And once you do that and you get those different results, hopefully these results are going to be better results. They can be even worse results than before. So you got to be, again, adaptable enough to quickly get back on the drawing board and re-strategize and take some different actions and get different results again. So after you do that, then again, we talked about how are you going to connect some of these dots? How are you going to really bring a good home run all together? And that was in relationship building, understanding that every business really will last longer if they have really strived on building a good relationship with their clients. If you look at any big business and you look at some of the stuff that they're doing, if the way they advertise, the way they brand, anything that they basically do is really focus on the relationship with their clients. They focus on, getting a lot of information from their clients so they can give them good feedback, thank you cards, making sure that you're engaged with them and keeping them in the loop with all the new things that are coming out, giving them some freebies to give them some good incentives so that way they feel like, hey, they're giving me stuff and they're going to keep following you. And eventually they're going to trust you more and more and more, to where now when you got a new product coming out or a new service, they're more likely and they're probably going to be more willing to give you a chance to either buy that product or service because you've built such a great relationship with them and they trust you so much now. So it's really important, guys, again, to focus on that relationship building with your clients, and that way you're going to have a good, solid foundation to build on. All right, guys, so I think we're going to get kind of wrapped up here. I know this was a very short, over basic stuff, nothing crazy, nothing too in depth with any of the stuff that we went over. But these will give you some good fundamentals of things to kind of work on when you're trying to start a business. Again, I can go really into depth with these. You just have to get a hold of me, and I can do one-on-one coaches with you guys. I also have some free sessions that you can get. Just email support@theaminimami.com and just put in the subject. I guess you could put in like free coaching or free session. And basically one of my partners or myself will get back to you. We'll set you up on if you got questions that you can ask there, we'll answer those. Or even if you wanted, like I said, the free coaching session, so I can kind of go over in depth with some of these things for you, no problem. I will do that for you guys. So again, thank you guys for watching this, and I hope this kind of helped out for some of you that are out there that are just trying to start a new business, whatever business is going to be. Again, just remember, know why. Why is important, guys. The purpose is very important, and relationship building is very important. So be the good person, be ethical, be moral, whatever you're going to do. Hopefully you're doing it to help a person's life or in some sort of way, because that's what really builds a good, strong business. If it's helpful to people, if it's not, then why really do it anyway, right? If it's just all about the money, be careful. You know, be really careful, because there's a lot of people I know that are just very money focused and all they see is dollar signs, but they crash and burn fast. You know, you might make some good money and then you crash and burn, and then that burn is so bad that it's hard to get back up. So you really want to make sure that you can sometimes build it a little slower, but on a good foundation, on that trust building, on that relationship building, on that good product that's going to help them out. That way you got a very good solid foundation. It's just going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to last longer. So instead of building it so quick and then just going down quick, now you're going to build it a little bit maybe slower, but you're going to have a lot more value and good content in there that people are going to enjoy, and they're going to spread the word more, and they're going to tell their family and their friends about you. And that's what you want. That's what you want, is that you want people to be striving fans that are going to just take their blowhorn and just blow everybody and say that basically that you got to go to this guy. You got to go and get this service here. You got to get this product here. And that's what you want, okay? So again, guys, if you got any questions, don't hesitate. Just click on my links, follow me, message me, or again, email me at support@theaminimami.com, and I will help you guys as much as I can. And God bless you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, okay? Oh, before I go, don't forget, I'll have more videos coming up that will follow up with this one that can kind of help you a little bit more in depth. Not too much again, because these ones are going to be quick, and look for those, okay? Thank you so much, guys. Take care.